At birth, a baby's brain contains billions of neurons, roughly as many nerve cells as there are stars in the Milky Way. The sensitive period when the neurons develop their function and key connection is in the early years of life. How well this web of connections gets established depends on two factors. One is who the baby's parents are. What genetic code is passed down to the baby? The other is the environment that the child grows up in, how well the child is protected from abuse and neglect, how well the child is loved and cared for. One thing is certain. As parents and caregivers, we can have a profound effect on how well our children grow. There are ways we can help these precious minds prepare to read and write in their later years. For children to develop language skills so they can read and write in grade school, they need healthy brains. And healthy brain development starts before they are born.
The development of the brain in the very early years of life, including in utero, affects your capacity to learn, that'll be literacy, your behavior, and your health throughout the life cycle. What we now know is that the wiring and sculpting of the billions of neurons in your head is hugely influenced by the stimuli that those nerve cells receive when you're very young. So to put it down very simply, early development of the brain is probably the most important period of investment to give young children the chance to be high-performing adults and socially responsible throughout their life cycle.
Healthy brains need to be fed well, to get plenty of rest, and lots of exercise. What does that mean? Feeding the brain well means feeding the body well. Good food feeds all the organs of the body, including the brain. Giving the brain plenty of rest is easy. Baby yawns. Baby sleeps. But not always at the time you want them to, and not always for as long as you want them to, but to their own schedule. It's when the baby is awake that you can really make a difference, because a baby's brain grows with the flood of experiences absorbed through the senses. What the baby touches, feels, smells, hears, and sees. If a child isn't appropriately nurtured, the child's brain suffers. What helps a child's brain grow is repeated experience. But, and this is tough for parents, this doesn't mean a baby must be overstimulated. Babies need downtime, when babies need to be able to absorb what's happening around them instead of being stimulated. How do you know when to stimulate and when to leave alone? Take your cue from your babies. They'll tell you what they need. Give babies the right combination of food, rest, exercise, and downtime, and the results are those wonderful, memorable moments that never cease to delight and awe parents. Such as first sounds, first steps,
good work, buddy.
And first words. A few months after birth, the motor control centers of the brain develop to the point that infants can suddenly reach out to touch or bat a nearby object. A little later, the cortex begins to refine the connections needed for depth perception and binocular vision. And somewhere near the child's first birthday, the speech centers of the brain are poised to produce what is perhaps the most magical moment of childhood, the first word that marks the flowering of language.
Parents may think that the first word is the beginning of literacy development. Actually, it's the moment-to-moment interactions that happen from birth and even before birth that influence the child's reading and writing at the age of 6 and 7. Every child develops uniquely. If you have concerns about your child's development, consult a professional. There are 3 things we can do to nurture the development of literacy. Communicate with your children, spend time with them and enjoy them, and make sure that books are a part of their everyday experiences.
There was never any time for my baby Vanessa. I'm a single mom and I've got 3 kids and there were just too many demands. So I got Kiana and Javian sitting on the couch reading books to each other so I could spend some more time with the baby.
There we go, buddy.
Even if it's a limited time with Lucas, something very routine like strapping him in the car, you know, changing him or something like that, I will talk to him or we'll play a little game or take advantage of the time that we have together.
Watch your hands.
Squat.
Dad goes to work every morning very early, before Katerina and Sadie are even awake yet. When we have breakfast, we sit together and play games. We tell stories. We talk about the book we read last night. I tease them by changing the story, but they usually catch me.
In the basket? Oh, Spotty did not know the penny.
We really think it's important that when we get home from the office, we spend quality time with Lucas.
There he is.
So we don't answer the phone, we don't get dinner on the table, we just spend time with him, playing on the floor, and making sure he's had a great day.
Here are some tips on how to make time to spend with your children. Get the other siblings to read books to each other so you can spend time with the baby. Andy doesn't waste a moment. If he's putting Lucas in a car seat, he's telling him what's happening. He's helping Lucas understand the connection between words and meaning. Francine loves breakfast with Sadie and Katerina. Sandra and Andy changed their schedule. They reprioritized their day so they could play with Lucas. Can you make any of these tips work for you?
Inara and I love to make conversations with each other. Inara likes to hear all the sounds that we make together.
I'm not sure that Liam isn't actually reading the signs, or whether it's just the shape and the position that makes him say the word.
Another stop sign?
I sometimes want my children to succeed so much that I try to make them do something they're not ready for. I think it's better to let them go at their own pace.
No, how about this one?
That says, that sounded nice.
Katerina loves words, and so do I. I usually let her choose the book, a book with a lot of pictures and big words. We have a lot of fun.
Here are some communication tips. It's good to repeat the sounds your baby makes. Use the child's environment to teach language, like naming the colors on products in the store or reading a stop sign in the street. Don't impose. Take cues from your child. Encourage your child when they show an interest and readiness for an activity. Play word games. Expose your child to sounds, words, and the cadence of words as a good beginning to early literacy. Hey, why are all the adults doing all the talking? Can we please have a turn? Communication is two-way, you know. We babies may not know the language, but we try to communicate with our parents. Here's what I mean. If I smile at you, you'll smile back.